today's episode...
He could sell pictures of his feet as well. Like, imagine how much money he would...
I think before we discuss this further, you need to have a game of Flappy Bird.
I hope the audience was laughing as much as we were.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first ever Us 3 FC podcast. It's been a long time coming. We've had this idea since like June, July of last year, and we finally got mics for Christmas, and we're now here about 2 months later. We have procrastinated about this for a while, but today I'm here with Jonny Chick.
Hello.
And I'm here with Joshua Bailey. I don't know which side they are, so...
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
How are we doing? You can't answer back, but, I know you're good.
Okay. This podcast will be available on all platforms. It'll be available on Spotify and it'll be available on YouTube. If there's a demand for Apple Music, I mean, we can look into Apple Music, but I doubt there's anyone going to be available for Apple Music. Who even uses Apple Music?
So what we found is it's not going to be available on all platforms then.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, in this podcast, we were discussing the hot topics of the football throughout the week. So today we'll be discussing United's tough week. Tuchel, whatever he's called, is taking over Chelsea. We'll be discussing racism in football. We'll be discussing West Ham's European tour. We'll be discussing Messi's elite contract and Marseille's training ground getting smashed up. Is there anything else I've missed?
The signings of the week as well.
Signings of the transfer
Lukaku and Ibrahimovic.
And Lukaku and Ibrahimovic. So I missed quite a few. But yeah, to start with, United's tough week. They lost midweek to Sheffield United, bottom of the league, who have only won one game all season. Before that, to Newcastle. And then we also drew to Arsenal at the Emirates. Now, I myself am a Manchester United fan. Josh Bailey, who do you spot?
Can that information remain classified? Or...
No, go on. We need to.
Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham. What, you mean the side that lost to Brighton last night?
Yeah, and Liverpool in midweek.
Okay.
Yeah.
So United's bad week has actually been better than Spurs's.
Yeah, we're looking at United's bad week, but...
Okay, yeah. It's the United agenda in the media. Yeah, go on, John. Who do you spot?
Who's had the best week out of all of us? Yes, that's right. 6 points, Leeds United, thank you. And I've also just spotted a massive spider on my wall, so... do
you want to deal with that?
I didn't move that way. Just notice it. All right.
Anyway, yeah. So United's tough week. They drew at the Emirates. Did any of you watch the game?
I did.
Yes.
No, we all watched.
We both did. I feel like if we'd gone then we wouldn't be here.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, United struggled again against the top six to score. They've only scored one goal this season against the top six in the league. That's the traditional top six. That's Arsenal, not Leicester. Sorry, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, United, Liverpool, City.
Fans not going to be happy.
Yeah, sorry, Leicester, mate, but you're not traditional top six anymore. But yeah, what?
Are you talking about Leicester or Spurs?
Leicester.
Okay, that's all right. So I thought you were talking about Spurs. I wasn't.
No, you're traditional top.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, United failed to score. They failed to score in open play against top six this season, and that was they only scored once, which was a penalty and a 6-1 defeat against Spurs. But yeah. What were your thoughts on the game? Okay, yeah, good maths, mate.
It was terrible. It was an awful game.
Do you think?
So the most of the games involving the top six this season have been criminally overhyped and overrated. I think, like the Liverpool Man United one a couple of weeks ago, it had chances, but it wasn't the best. They're often cagey. They're often quite slow to get going. And yes, there were some clear-cut chances in the game, but it wasn't the most entertaining. Sorry, Josh.
I think that could be possibly because I think now in the past, points were. There was a greater chance of picking up points against the teams outside the top six. Where maybe now with your results against the top six were what won you and lost you the league. Where now it's kind of like your points against the top six kind of keep you in the race and you'll be looking just for points. It's actually going to be the results down the bottom of the league because it's become much more competitive.
Yeah. So what you're saying is if you win games, you get points.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder why we haven't been selected for a punditry job at this point.
So, United have struggled against top six this season. So, yeah, it's been a tough week for us. But like you say, this is actually the second recording we've done of this podcast, and we discussed this in the first recording. But United, we won't go into why this is the second recording of this podcast. Just we failed to pay for on a Zoom account.
Blame Zoom.
It was John. It was Jonny.
No. Even on this podcast, he called me John as well. I can't.
Sorry.
Yeah, if we refer to Jonny as John, just go with it.
Or don't.
Or John. Anyway, back to Man United.
Back to Man United. So United last season, they were actually the exact opposite. They actually took on the top six and they got results against the top six. And you could argue that this season, it's probably because they're now in a situation, they found themselves in a situation where they've got more to lose. Last season, that they played a bit more more with an attacking input because they almost felt like they could just go out and attack teams and win games. Whereas now they're more reserved and teams come to Old Trafford looking for a point maybe because it's a better result. And United are a counter-attacking team, which is why in away games, they're suited in the league this year.
As a Man United fan, Kai, would you be more happy with? Would you be happy or content with a second or third place finish this season?
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, I think if you'd have asked any United fan, any normal, not deluded Man United fan before the season, if United were in this position at this point in time, would you be happy with their season? And without a doubt, I think that most of them would say yes. The only downfall for me would be the Champions League, getting knocked out in the group stages. But then, again, given the group we were in, no one expected us to qualify anyway with Leipzig, who were last season's semi-finalists, and PSG, who were this last season's finalists. So, we were in a very tough group to start with. But yeah, I think any normal United fan would be happy with where we are in the season at the moment. And I think the ones that don't want United to be in the position they are right now are the ones that want Ole sacked. That's a hot take, but
Are you slightly concerned? Just because I know teams go through I know teams go through these stages where you have dips in form, dips in performances. But what's pulled you through this season, as we stated in the first take, was that your energy, belief, and desire. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the most notable thing from watching both those games was the fact that wasn't there. Mm. I think Rio Ferdinand said it was kind of like you were always going to score. Mm. And I think the game against Sheffield United, there wasn't any belief that it was kind of just going through the motion that it never happened. Mm. There was no real push or energy. Mm. And the same with Arsenal. One thing I want to say, and there's one kind of correlation as well between those two performances and between kind of your dip in performances and kind of someone else's performance as well. Bruno. Bruno. His performances may not be...
That's what I laughed. Sorry, no. I
thought you were going to go to Spurs. I'll tell what you've been.
Bruno's performances. He may not have been any worse. But I feel like he's kind of... His influence and control of the games has been limited. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a worrying thing for Man United, the fact you rely on his energy in the press and in just everything he does to kind of get you through. And there's always been that thing, Bruno and Man United. And now Bruno's not kind of had a bit better form. Your form has also got...
I think for me, every single big team relies on their players. That's how a team plays. Like you with Kane, for example, you didn't have Kane yesterday. You couldn't score against Brighton.
Where would Leeds be without Bamford there?
Well, that's what I mean.
Probably got to the Championship sooner.
Probably in the Champions League, to be honest. But
yeah, probably. Every team relies on big players. That's the point of them being in the squad. And I think United, out of the teams, they've got a lot of match winners in there. Outside of Bruno, Pogba could step up. Yeah, I've got you pull the face for the audio listeners.
I know, but I'm just saying. I think all because it happens to other teams, it doesn't make this issue any less concerning.
I don't think it's an issue though.
But is it?
I don't. It's not an issue. I think it's literally just because they played. If you look, they played an FA Cup game against Liverpool, which they've gone and won. They've had to go to Anfield and come up against a sustained Liverpool attack. The amount of concentration that's all taken. We're coming into the past the New Year fixtures, all that kind of stuff. It's a little blip in form. But what they've got to show now is, are they a good enough side to get back on the form?
Is it a blip in form, though? Aside from the Sheffield United loss, I think the Sheffield United loss is that is tragic. You can't lose to the bottom of the league who have only won one game all season. But outside of that, we've gone to the Emirates, which is traditionally a tough game. I don't know why, but traditionally going to the Emirates is a tough game. And they've got a point. And then they've gone and they've not conceded. I know they haven't scored, but they've not conceded. Exactly. and they've gone to Anfield and not conceded. And for me, the media is so quick to jump on the United anti-hype train. We were talked about being up there in the title race, lose a few games. Well, we've lost one game. We haven't even lost multiple games. We've lost one game and drawn 2. I know that's not exactly great, but if you'd have told me beforehand, away at Arsenal, away at Liverpool, and home at Sheffield United, that we'd have come out with 2 points, all right, I might have been disappointed with the Sheffield United one, but we've still not lost to Arsenal away or Liverpool away, which are traditionally two of the hardest games in the league. And now, for me, I'm seeing that as we've got them out the way. We don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to go away to Liverpool, and we don't have to go away at the Emirates. Yeah. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Josh, because I know you're putting a face.
I'm just not sure. I think kind of this form has been it's been a long time coming. You know, it has. You don't. Yeah. I will say it. I am pretty kind of.
I love this because I knew this was going to happen.
It's just my open feelings about Man United. And it's kind of been a long time coming. You've been getting results. You've been getting results, growing up results, but there's not been kind of many performances where you've sit back and gone, wow. You know, there's not been kind of, and you say about the media, but I do think the media are kind of getting on the hype train of kind of Man United and pushing, you know, they are going to criticise you, but they have been getting onto it more.
It goes back to the
big club succeed and it brings more.
Yeah. It goes back to the phrase that United have, the hated all but never ignored. The United are never ignored in the media. It sells papers.
It just feels like these kind of performances has just been coming. I think you've been getting through games and then that eventually catches up with you. You know, and I'm not saying that makes you any worse of a team, but I'm just saying I just think maybe the results you've been getting haven't matched the performances.
Well, I think the thing is now we need to see, like you say, it's not necessarily like a dip in form. It's a couple of draws and a loss at the bottom of the league. It's whether you can react, because you're playing Southampton by the time we're recording this tomorrow night, is it?
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Old Trafford, is that Old Trafford one? Yeah, because you were 2-0 down the other way game and you came back. So I think it's now what we're going to see is do Man United have the fight and the spirit to come together? Because Man City, with their game in hand, could be 6 points, away from Man United.
7, yeah.
7, 6, 7. So I just think at that point we're going to see what Man United are made of, and will they potentially slip off? But the other teams around them aren't exactly doing much.
Yeah, no. Well, United have got Everton as well on the weekend after. So if you can get through Southampton, Everton with 6 points, you're back. There's no difference.
If United can bounce back from this, then they're really proving this is kind of.
They've got to come out and show character, haven't they, in the next 2 games?
Every title challenger team goes through these periods, and it's whether this becomes a sustained problem or whether this just becomes a blip.
Yeah. What was that, John?
Sorry, John, what was that?
No, unless you're the Arsenal Invincibles, then there's no real blip in there.
Okay. Well, anyway, speaking of struggling sides, we're going to talk about Chelsea now. So this week, they sacked their manager and brought in Thomas Tuchel. Was that the right appointment?
No.
Silence.
I think it's harsh on Lampard because of, like you said, all managers go through blips. And I think if you look at where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could have been sacked so many times at Man United, and he's rescued it with one win. Lampard's brought in £200 million of players, has implemented about 6 or 7 of them into the starting 11, and expects them all to gel in we started in mid-September. So 4 or 5 months you expect them all to gel?
Yeah. But it's not going to happen.
In the first, and I don't really like Lampard and Derby and all that sort of stuff. Because
why is that, John? Why is that?
Because Lampard, basically, in the first season at Chelsea, he's had some fantastic play. I'm avoiding that question. I'm not talking about that night. That night is horrible.
Lives in his dreams.
Well, as people say,
just sees Mason Mount's face.
Yeah, Mason Mount. So what were we going to say, Clive?
As people say, Rome wasn't built overnight.
Exactly.
Rome wasn't built overnight.
But I feel like if Rome was invested 200 million in, then
Rome also didn't have 200 million pound invested in it, did it? Really?
But Roman Abramovich, Rome.
Hey, there we go.
I mean, he could have had 200 million. We don't actually know how much building Rome cost. We don't know that. But no, but it was
they didn't use pounds. Josh, they didn't use pounds.
Oh yeah, they used Roman numeral. No,
he could have used
Roman.
He could have used Monopoly dollars.
Could have done.
The house on Stamford Bridge, and he's away. So
yeah.
But no, it's cheers, John. No, but I feel like it's always going to happen. You know, when you spend 200 million players, 200 pounds on players.
We're going to talk about Rome again.
When you get 200 million pounds on players and you bring in the likes of Werner, Havertz, you still get Thiago Silva, you know, you get Mendy. There's got to be, there's got to be some response. And I think it's come from more of maybe a financial point of view. I mean, obviously, we don't really know the kind of financial situation of Chelsea. But if Roman Abramovich has spent 200 million, you're thinking he's got to get Champions League. Otherwise, he's not going to make a profit, because the Champions League makes a lot. So, he's probably thinking I can't take a risk here. And, if by sacking Lampard and hiring Tuchel, doesn't cost too much, he wants to get it in because I just think it's too much of a risk. But, at the end of the day, Tuchel's in, there's not much you can do. I think you can have this debate forever. What are his tasks for Tuchel coming into this Chelsea job?
I think he's got to get them players that they've spent money on performing, hasn't he? Because Werner's been woeful. They've had to rely on Giroud to get them goals. Werner's been on
good player, Giroud.
Great player. No, there's no disrespect.
Werner's finishing has always been terrible, even in the Leipzig.
That's a hot take. That is a hot.
No,
take.
it was. If you watched him, his finishing wasn't great. Like he needs so many chances to score.
Yeah, it's like Rashford. Rashford is the same. He's so inconsistent. They need
not on FIFA 20 co-op seasons though. Team of different.
We should have an episode dedicated to that.
Well, anyway, I've got some statistics for you boys. So, Thomas Tuchel, I've got my notepad.
High statistics.
Thomas Tuchel.
Rips us out with the ladies, didn't you, Kai? When
yes, what I do on a night out.
Being like, do you want to hear stats on Thomas Tuchel?
People that come away from this club, enjoying themselves.
See what I do on a night out. I get my notepad out and say, do you know what? I've actually had a 99% success rate on nights out.
I want to fact check that, please, because I don't think
we can fact check that because that is not true. Thomas Tuchel at Dortmund.
Tuchel, mate.
No, it's Tuchel, mate.
Okay.
Anyway, at Dortmund, he had 68 wins, 23 draws, and 17 losses in 108 games, which is a percentage of 62%, which isn't great, a win percentage. It's not great.
That's decent.
That's very good.
That's very good.
Yeah,
62% is very good.
62% is. So, to be fair, if you're Dortmund, your aspirations are slightly different, but 62% isn't. For how many?
That's a good win record.
In the Premier League, that is, but in the German league, is that good?
The German league's a good league. It's competitive.
Yeah, but for Dortmund though, Dortmund Bayern should be
not when Tuchel came in. Did he?
Anyway. I don't know.
No,
anyway, PSG
as well.
I'll cut that out. I'll leave that out. That's not making it in. And then PSG, he had 127. This is why I thought it was bad, right? Because his record at PSG is incredible then. Because he had 227 games. He had 95 wins and 13 draws and 19 defeats, which is 75.6% win rate.
That's because it's the French league.
Yeah, well, yeah. But he also had.
All French viewers out there.
There'll be many.
Bonjour, ça va?
The both of you.
Yeah, but during this time at PSG, he had the highest average points per game in PSG history as a manager, tied with Unai Emery.
Good evening.
I think he's a good manager. Don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of with these German managers. I think there's a lot of their playing style's amazing, but does it produce results as much?
And I've got a stat to back that up as well, Josh.
Come on, tell us.
Thomas Tuchel has only beaten Klopp and Pep twice in 19 games.
Oh, that's a bad stat.
That is a statistic.
Oh. That's a good statistic. That
I think Thomas Gorman would have done better than that.
Yeah. Thomas Gorman.
Yes. He's a Michelin star chef. Like Thomas.
Yeah. And then I've also got one more stat for you. Just one more. Sorry, let me.
This might as well be
Chelsea,
the Kai Stat Show.
At Chelsea,
there for an hour.
I've just got a whole notepad. At Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel has had 1 win and 1 draw, which is only a 50% win record. Now, that's not great.
But no, what he needs, and this is one of my points where he needs to work on, is at PSG, great play style. He gets on with the players, but his relationship with the club and the staff in the club hasn't been great with the board and stuff. It's very confrontational. I think I'm not 100% wording this accurately, but I think there was a tweet that said kind of when he got sacked from PSG that he struggles with relationships and kind of people warming to him. I think that's something he's got to work on.
Especially 100%. With Roman Abramovich. especially with Roman Abramovich.
Yeah.
100%. He needs to work on, but like you said, he needs to find this. He needs to find this starting 11. What killed Frank was he had so many players and he couldn't find this starting 11. He needs to find that quickly.
That's the interesting thing with what he's done so far. He's dropped he dropped Mount for his first game, but he's brought him back in. He's playing Hudson-Odoi a lot. It was actually improved a lot. And I don't know. I watched the game against the 0-0 draw against Wolves. I watched a bit of the one against Burnley. Did you watch any of them?
I didn't watch it, but I saw Robbie Brady's quote that he said.
Oh, what did he say?
The manager was screaming at him to mark Hudson-Odoi, and he says, "I can see him, but what do you expect me to do? I can't catch him." That's what he said. He said Robbie Brady said he couldn't get near Hudson-Odoi. So I mean,
he's a good player, Hudson-Odoi.
He's basically had 2 man of the match performances in the 2 games that they've been playing, and Thomas Tuchel wants to keep a lot of the ball. Like they had some ridiculous passing stat in their game against Wolves. How many parts? I don't know.
I didn't say
it was wrong, but what do you think of teams who like to keep possession? Are you because they clearly do. They're clearly passing a lot of the ball, keep a lot of possession. But would you rather be? Because Josh, you've got a team who doesn't rely on possession, relies on counter-attacking. What do you?
How's that working for us? It was working quite well, but not so much anymore.
Exactly.
That's what I said to you, Josh. I said Mourinho's football is great when it wins you games.
Mourinho's slightly. We're not going to get onto that. Mourinho's slightly the problem, but it's Levy in this terrible squad. This terrible squad.
No, but this is what I'm saying. Would you rather have Would you rather keep the ball in the possession, or would you rather just sit back and counter attack? This isn't a Tottenham thing. It's just like a Chelsea thing. Do you like the way they're playing at the moment?
I haven't. I mean, we haven't really seen enough to kind of make a definitive answer. But I mean, he went to a three back, didn't he, against Burnley? He went to a 3-back with the wing backs, and I think Hudson actually play on as a wing back.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, at one point.
Played, yeah.
When in the I watched the last 10 minutes of the Wolves game, and when they subbed on when he was going for a goal, Hudson-Odoi ended up at left wing back. Yeah.
So it's an interesting formation because we haven't seen that since the Conte. Remember when Conte changed to a 3-back, and then everyone changed to a 3-back just for that season. So that'll be interesting to see how that kind of works out because it's a system that it's kind of hit or miss with the wing backs.
Yeah.
But as long as
you've got to have a high work rate full backs, don't you, to play with wing backs?
And you've got to have a balanced defence. You've got to have kind of that rock in the middle and the 2 pace, which they've got. He's just got to find that starting 11.
Yeah,
you've got Ziyech, Mount. Yeah. He took Abraham off actually, didn't he? 45 within 45 minutes, and he played Pulisic as a false 9.
Yeah,
which is interesting to look at that. So not good for Abraham's confidence either.
No.
But no, I think Tuchel's got all the tools here. He has.
Oh yeah.
Really, Kovacic went on his day as an incredible player.
Yeah, Jorginho.
Yeah, he's got Kovacic, Jorginho, Conte. He's got so many of these players. He's got all the tools. Really, does he really need to make so many players to bring in? Probably not.
He probably needs to work on the back four more than anything. I think that's where he needs to improve.
He's kept clean sheets, two clean sheets.
Yeah,
the first Chelsea manager to do that in his first 2 games since Rafa Benitez.
Really?
Yeah, long time ago. Oh. So again, the defense is true as well. He's really got to sort that out.
Yeah, he needs to find out his best defensive centre back partnership because Rudiger barely played under Lampard.
But you'd imagine he'll play under Tuchel because they're both German.
Exactly, Thiago Silva Thiago Silva was with him at PSG.
Mm-hmm.
He played Thiago Silva and Zuma mainly was their top scorer for a little while.
Yeah,
so he needs to work out on his best team. But I think the aim for them this season has to just be try and get as close to the Champions League as he physically can.
I think they can. If Tuchel can hit the ground running and establish a formation, I think a good thing about this is there's not a lot of players. Frank Lampard wasn't there for a long time, was he? He was only there for a year and a half. And a lot of those players weren't used to his style of play. So I think it will be a lot easier than compared to other clubs he could have possibly gone to establish a style of play and to establish kind of his ways in defence.
Thing is, they're 7th at the moment in the table, and they need to get to the top 4. They play the most amount of games they can, 21 games. I think they've got to rely on the likes of West Ham slipping up, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But West Ham have, they've got to rely on them slipping up. Tottenham obviously, aren't in the best run of form themselves, and they've got to. Do you think they will get top 4?
No. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will.
I think Spurs are more likely to get it than Chelsea. I think Chelsea are too they've cut adrift and sacking your manager. Put him.
Sorry, no, I was going to say why not.
With Chelsea, yeah. So so basically with Chelsea, for me, I think they've cut adrift, and sacking your manager mid-season is the worst possible thing you can do. I'm just sorry it is. I hate it. I absolutely hate to see a manager sacked mid-season, because to sack a manager mid-season means he hasn't got a transfer window to bring in who he wants to. He's got to work with players that he really hasn't chosen. He's got to then get out of the style of play that the old manager is in and put in a new style of play whilst trying to get results. It's a very difficult job for him to do. And go on.
Yeah, no, and it's true. But I think with Frank Lampard kind of only being there a year and a half, the style of play isn't going to be as much implemented. Plus, wasn't really a style of play with Frank, really. He attacks so much, but the defence was so exposed. I think it'll be a lot easier. But you are right. Tuchel will demand. There's a very certain way he wants to play, and that will take a while. But I think he's helped with the fact that, again, the players isn't his sort of players, but these are amazing players.
Yeah,
these are amazing players. He's got Havertz, Ziyech.
On paper, it's probably the best squad, like one of the best squads in the league.
Which I think is why Lampard got the sack in the end, because, like you say, he's not getting results with this team, and with that team, they should be able to play football on their own.
With greater power comes greater responsibility.
Who said that?
Yoda.
Josh Bailey.
That was anyway. I think. Do you think Lampard would have been sacked if fans were in the ground? Because I was watching a couple of Chelsea fans' videos, and they were saying if Chelsea fans were in the ground, they'd have got behind Frank, they'd have got behind the team, and if Frank had been sacked with fans in the ground, they thought there'd been like a massive uproar against the owners because they literally got rid of one of their own. And I think Chelsea. Abramovich has kind of, sneakily sacked him now with no fans in the ground. No one can really uproar against it. They've got to just sit at home and passively watch this football. And I feel like he may have sacked him purely. I think if fans were in the ground, they were in the same run of form they were in, I don't think he'd have sacked him.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. But
speaking of teams on the up, are we talking
going to London, the other side?
Leeds,
the other side of London, we're going to go into West Ham. David Moyes, football genius.
Can we just say that John just said Leeds is in London, by the way?
No, I said that while you said teams up on form. Then you cut me off at the London.
Right, well, it sounds like you said it.
Well, in the edit, I'll make it sound like John said.
Yeah, so no one thinks he knows where.
No, I've never prided myself on my geography anyway. So, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Where's France, John?
Kai?
So yeah, anyway, David Moyes, football genius, he is doing wonders with West Ham at the moment. Absolute wonders. I don't.
And bearing in mind, everyone thought they were going to go down as well. Like the majority of people thought they were going to be relegated.
I was one of them.
No.
Is Villa and West Ham were two of the teams that people thought were going to go down? They're having like the best seasons like they've had.
Ridiculous. 100%. And it's no surprise if Moyes is given time. And given time and sort of, if he's given time, he's an amazing manager.
You were subject to his football for 8 months of your life, Josh.
But I think when he gets his right players in, when he has time to get his right players in, I think his football's good.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think David Moyes can spot a good footballer. Like you see the well, maybe not Fellaini, but I suppose Fellaini did the job for United at the end of the day. The signings he made at United, he made Juan Mata, who's still at the club now, and probably when he plays, he's consistent. I know he's old, his legs are going, but he's a consistent player.
He's been a good servant for the club.
Yeah, he's been a good servant. Yeah, he's been there I couldn't believe he's been there he's been there 8 years. The other day. It was 8 years ago the other day. Yeah.
Isn't that thing he can have now?
No, 10 years. It's testimonial.
Testimonial. That's it. Testimonial.
And my connection went then. My connection is now unstable.
Come on, what the connection.
Anyway, like he signed Fellaini, who did a job for United when he needed to. He was probably United's best player at one point in time, as much as fans don't want to admit that. I probably was. And then he signed Juan Mata, who has been consistent and a great servant, like you say. And then the signings he had in place were Luke Shaw, who's now our left back and probably one of the best players on the best form at the moment, and Herrera, who I still think should still be at the club. I loved him under Herrera, and I think he was great.
Great player.
It was a great player, and I think he still is. But David Moyes could, without a doubt, spot a player, and he knew which players to sign to help improve the squad. He just wasn't given time. But
United was also too big for him as well, I think.
I don't think it was. I don't think the transition was put in place well enough for him. I think.
Did he go there after Everton?
Yeah. He went straight from Everton.
He did a very good job at Everton.
Very good.
So I think that actually warranted the appointment of the Man United job. I just think after what Ferguson did with because he was the first one after Fergie, wasn't he? I just think after what he'd done to then, not saying Moyes was a bad manager at the time because he worked wonders with Everton, but I just think maybe that was the wrong approach.
It was a cursed job, wasn't it? It was never gonna. Whoever got it was never gonna do well.
He didn't help himself though. For me, Moyes.
You're never going to achieve what they've.
No.
My connection's gone. Come on.
Oh, get it up the connection. Yeah. So when he came in, he sacked every single coaching member. Why would you do that? Why would you sack every single coaching staff of a league title winning side? Have just won it by 12 points. I think it was 12, 10 points, something like that.
But that's behind him now.
It is.
That's in the past. And we're here to talk about West Ham. The West Ham fans will be getting upset.
He's going to win the league with West Ham.
I mean, but like you said, he's got an eye for talent.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
And he's brought in Craig Dawson, who, by the way, was such an underrated centre-back for Watford, and he is doing an incredible job. Ever since Craig Dawson has come into the side, he has he's conceded 5 goals. West Ham have conceded 5 goals in 7 games. Incredible form. Since he's been in as well, I think they've won about 4, maybe. I think it's maybe 5. I think in 5... drawn 1, lost 1, maybe, or might be 4. I don't know. Good research. So and honestly, he picked up Craig Dawson, Thomas Souček again, and I'm not going to compare it to Fellaini because on Twitter, West Ham fans are hating comparing Souček to Fellaini. So he's his own individual player. Okay. But again, amazing player. He got in Bowen as well, really good player. Fornals as well, who he's having a bit of time adjusting, but he's doing all right. And then Kufal. The list goes on about the players he has brought in, and kind of it works well with West Ham because West Ham aren't going to spend loads, but they're going to spend enough. And the players he's got suit West Ham, and it's like Everton. The players he got suited Everton, Tim Cahill, Arteta, all those different players. So if he's given time to identify his players. Yeah, they're working within budgets. He's an incredible manager, and West Ham, you can only praise them. Really, they're doing really well.
The thing I don't get with West Ham is how many of their starting 11, like apart from I don't know Declan Rice, but like they don't have that many big name players. No. You think, he's gonna Tottenham, Son and Kane, Fernandes at Man United,
Bamford
Chelsea.
at Leeds.
Yeah, exactly. Bamford at Leeds. No, there's 11 of big name players at Leeds. But I just think it's like their squad, and this is no disrespect to West Ham, it's a fantastic job that they're doing at the moment, but their squad isn't on paper a top 5-6 squad at all. It's a mid-table squad, and what Moyes is doing with them is simply phenomenal. If they get European football, because they got it, did they get it a couple of seasons ago? They did like what Burnley did, and
they got knocked out though, in the
qualifying stages of the Europa League. If he can take them into European football again, he's done a fantastic.
Well, I think people are forgetting as well. There's a Conference League this year as well.
That's true. Is that starting this year?
Yeah, this year for next season. That Conference League, which I think goes to 7th and 8th. Yeah. And if 7th get Europa League, which is
imagine if you end up in 9th. Imagine if you end up in that.
We should do an episode on that because I think that could ruin football.
Yeah.
When you say Conference League, I thought you meant like non-league, like Billericay Town.
Tunbridge going into Europe. But can I just say, going off John's thing, West Ham is an amazing example of having the perfect players for the system and players who want to play for the manager and the badge. West Ham haven't had that. West Ham have had kind of loads of these individual pieces over the past years. It's been an absolute mess. Players who didn't want to be at the club, players who didn't want to play for the manager. But David Moyes has come in, got sustainability, and he's got that. And the addition of Jesse Lingard as well gives him Jesse Lingard, when he's on form, he gives your team something. He adds depth, the J-Link celebration. He adds depth and he adds experience, and he will only improve West Ham. So he's really good.
If he can channel his 2017, and I don't spoil it, he is my signing one of the signings of the window. If he can channel that, was it 17-18 form under?
Jersey.
If he can channel that, because I think they kind of lack that attacking midfield position because they've been playing Mark Noble in there recently. They did over the Christmas period, which I don't think it's a great move.
I mean, they have got it. They can play Fornals there, Bowen on the right. It's very interchangeable. They've got a very fluid front four. Antonio can drop deep. You've got Bowen on the right. You've got you can play Ben Rama on the left.
Ben Rama's
but talking to Jesse Lingard, John, signings of the window.
Okay. I was gonna go into just
sorry, Kai.
I was going to wrap up the serious topic in the Premier League to start with, and
Okay.
then go into the European bit, and then
Okay.
go to the
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Makes sense.
we've currently done about 35 minutes, nearly 40 minutes. So
yeah, we've got ages. If the podcast goes on for like an hour and 10, we've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, but all right.
Europe,
So basically,
Europe will wrap up.
Yeah, well, we're going to discuss more of a serious topic now. Something that's happened within this last week on social media of the racial abuse of Marcus Rashford, Axel Tuanzebe, and Anthony Martial. Now, the common theme there is Man United, and again, it's the subject from the media that they've been subject to, from the social media, from fans, and I wouldn't even call them fans at this rate. I'd just call them lowlifes on social media who haven't got anything better to do. To racially abuse someone online it's disgusting. There's no room for it whatsoever in face to face. Never mind on social media. It's something like on the comments. I've saw some of the comments that were disgusting. And people wouldn't dream of saying that face to face to him. If you come face to face with Marcus Rashford, they're probably the same people that go up and ask them for a photo.
Yeah.
And you know, it's there's just no room for it in the game. I think for me, it's not just an issue within football. It's an issue within society, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed through the social media companies, whether that's through having to register your ID when you sign up, and then when your account gets banned, I'm sorry, but that is your ID banned off every single social media. You cannot use social media anymore because people are making it so easy now to make a new profile and make a new email address, and they can just make a new account and just don't put their face and hide behind their profile photo who is a footballer of a rival team. That's literally what it is. That's what people are getting abused from.
I think, sorry, John, I think not having fans as well was sort of made people... It's kind of forgot about this issue. I mean, obviously, you've had all the things with George Floyd and, Breonna Taylor and people like that, which, in last year was massive for kind of like the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like and things like that. But I think as a football kind of issue, not having fans has sort of made people, I wouldn't say forget, but yeah, it sort of has. People have kind of just forgotten about it for a bit, just because, we haven't had the fans there. There hasn't been that racial abuse where I think kind of before the Christmas before there was it was kind of spiking up a lot.
Yeah.
And I think kind of people not having that fans kind of has made people forget about the issue. But what I really want to know is, you see these footballers that screenshot these and call it out, but how many more messages do they get that we don't see?
Loads.
You got like that, and that's the scary thing about it is you got to imagine it, and it's these big footballers that run it out. But what about the ones in the smaller leagues? What about the ones in League One and League Two, in the National League, the ones that don't have these social media influences? And it's the Premier League, the FA. And England, they're very quick to point to these other countries, especially when you see an England duty, and it's disgusting out there. But I think we sort of forget about it, and it's so much better than it was, back in the 60s, back in the 50s, 60s. But it's not great at all, and it's an issue that's got to be done. The FA have got to do more.
I don't.
Social media platforms in general.
I don't think it's the football.
I don't.
The FA are introducing the knee before kickoff, which has been done every game since July when the football restarted. You've got so many things going around. Black Lives Matter movement, kick it out, all the stuff in football. That's evidently not working because on social media that's the problem. I think. I completely agree. You need to submit. Because we've got an Us Three Twitter account, shameless plug, give it a follow. But that's not us putting our name out there. But even for that, one of us would still have to submit our passport. I think put your details on there, so that account is linked to that person. Because people do run, company accounts, business accounts. Their name is not on there, but it has to be related to a person's name. So if someone racially abuses someone, it has to be tracked down to that person. And I also think it's not. Racism is a massive problem, but I also think it just shows there are so many other things with whether people are gay or anything like that. How many gay footballers are there that aren't coming out?
Yeah,
and that's another problem, and it is a societal problem. And you think about the amount of DMs, like you say, they show one on Twitter, they screenshot from Instagram. There's going to be loads of other ones, and the thing that makes it worse is it's their own fans. It's like Kai literally going out his way to abuse a person. Obviously he hasn't, but it's like Kai going out of his way to literally abuse a player of the club that he supports. I just don't understand.
They're not fans though.
No, they're not.
They're not.
It's got to be pointed out. It's the minority of fans. It's the complete minority.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What I hope doesn't happen is this has kind of been a pattern where we've seen these DMs. It happened to Zaha last year. And we talk about it, and everyone kind of makes a fuss about it. And same with the FA, everyone's like, that shouldn't happen, but then nothing happens about it afterwards. And it just the same thing happens again. And what I mean by the FA doing more is it's social media's problem, as in across the whole board, because it's not just in football; it's across everywhere. You see it. But I think in terms of the Premier League, I think kind of the FA and the Premier League need to work with Twitter, Instagram to just do something about this, because it's their issue as well. But social media need to do better in general.
For me, I disagree. I don't disagree with that whole point you've made. I disagree with the FA. I don't think it's the FA's fault. The FA get a lot of flack for this.
It's not the FA's fault, but I just think they can. I just think they need to start working with social media companies more.
But a fan commenting someone on Twitter isn't the FA.
Not the FA's fault. That's what I don't get about that argument. For me, the FA are doing a lot. There's been a lot of arguments recently about why the knee's still in the game and is it losing its meaning. And I think this week has proved why it is in the game. For me, it gives players confidence to come out and speak about the racial abuse they've received. Like Rashford's tweet was, it was brilliant this week that he put out. He's, not giving them any attention, which is brilliant. But there's not that many people that are as strong mentally as Rashford. He might put on a brave face. He might not. He might be suffering. I don't know. I don't know personally. But it will affect your mental health, and it'll affect your confidence when you're playing football. And why, if you were a fan of the club and abusing your own players, why would you abuse your own players to try and bring their confidence down? If anything, you're going to want to go, oh, well, it was a poor game, but yeah, we go again next time. It's like you've got to give them confidence, and doing stuff like that it's disgusting. It's not going to give them confidence at all.
Well, it's an issue that we're going to hopefully cover, maybe have a special episode for in the in the future.
But yes, so anyway, moving on to a bit more of a lighter subject. We're going to go over to Europe now. So we're going to discuss the Europe's hot topics outside of the Premier League. So I know Josh was very keen to get into this.
You've got to give Europe their credit. They're there. People forget about them,
about 10 minutes ago when you were like, I want to do the transfer window.
I'm just keen.
You just called the French league really bad, so I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that is true.
I mean, to be fair, PSG lost to Lorient yesterday, bottom of the league.
Backtracking.
But yeah, backtracking. Anyway, Europe.
Did you see the Lorient players within that? Were they doing? Oh no, completely wrong game.
Moving on. Messi's contract.
Yes.
That has caused a stir.
Quite the stir.
El Mundo reported it. They are now actually, Barcelona are going to sue El Mundo, apparently, because they leaked this. Barcelona said they had no kind of, helping in leaking
I was going to pose that question to you. Do you think Barcelona had a helping? Because Messi's relationship at the moment with Barcelona is it's not great, is it?
It doesn't make it better.
No, it doesn't. So I personally, well, I don't believe, actually, because I don't believe. But I think Barcelona had a... I believe.
So it's a Polar Express reference. I believe. I'm going to shut up now.
We were doing so well.
But no, yeah, I think it's a possibility. Yeah. Barcelona's going to sue, but it wouldn't surprise me it's someone in the club, because you look at it and it's 55 million, which is $500 million, over 4 years. 138 million per season.
Josh, can we just go back and check that maths?
Was it not 555 million as well?
555, yeah.
You said 55 million.
Oh, my apologies to the listeners. 555 million, which is $500 million.
I was like, 55 million is $500 million, mate.
55. Start again. 55 million over 4 years. 138 million per season fixed.
You said 55 again. You said 55 again.
I said 138 million. I said. Stop it. Stop it now. It's 555 million. 230. There's a bit more, but I've just rounded it down. 115 million just for accepting the contract, just for saying, yeah, I'll play for Barcelona, and then 77 million in loyalty bonuses. So really, there's no wonder that Barcelona are in the spot they are, because no man on the planet deserves to be paid that amount of money.
Well, there's a
yeah.
David Attenborough.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's true. The NHS deserves to be paid that amount of money.
Yeah.
The 55 million. You've wrapped me now.
150.
So not Lionel Messi. He's an amazing player, but that is obscene, and that annoyed a lot of people. What?
I'm just laughing at you. Like we were talking about the 550 million, you just went, the NHS. Like that the NHS is a person. Like it's just one person.
That guy.
Individuals in the NHS.
That
guy. Oh.
Right,
NHS. Yeah.
Dr. Alex. Anyway, yeah. So that's obscene.
Oh yes. No. Yeah. Dr. Alex is that. Have you seen his TikToks?
Yeah. To be fair, he's doing a brilliant job.
Told me when I for a walk daily.
What are your thoughts?
For me, I think.
No, not Dr. Alex. No.
What from Messi's contract?
On Messi's contract, it's obscene.
Well, yeah, and there's no wonder that City are like contemplating not taking him on this season. There is no wonder, like, because where is he going? He's going to have to take a pay cut no matter where he goes, surely.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Nowhere's going to pay that money for him.
And that's an example of when the player becomes bigger than the club.
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't it? And I think Barcelona are like, oh my God, Messi. When really, but the thing is, it's not like it's even affect their transfers. They've still brought in quite a lot of players. I mean, their recruitment is terrible.
Yeah.
But they've still brought in a lot of players. But it's just, I look at it and I'm like, what? And then he has the cheek to say he wants to leave.
Yeah.
Paying him all that money, he thinks, yeah, no, sorry. Like, if you're being paid that money and you're like losing to Bayern Munich 7-2, don't sulk. Or was it like 6-1? What was the score?
8-2.
Was it 8-2? It was 8-2. Don't sulk. Play. You're being paid that amount of money.
Exactly. I'd hate to be Lionel Messi right now.
To be you. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that he turns around, this club's paid him all this money, and then goes against the club I just think that's a bit rich, really.
The thing is, Lionel Messi is a brand now. He's not. It's not just a player. He's a massive brand. It's like Ronaldo. It's like. You think of all the other contracts he's been given. He's lost his FIFA contract as well. He's not the cover star, so maybe that's the reason why they're paying him all that money.
Yeah.
I think it's like you say, it's an obscene amount of money. But to like, not saying did you expect it to be like any lower, but like
true, yeah, that's a fair point.
The amount of like it's a mass like 555 million over 4 years. It's ridiculous. Thank you. No worries. 100% conversion rate on the stats for myself. But I just think. Like, I hope he's giving away some of that money to like charities or other stuff like that. But
you'd hope so. I think footballers do a lot behind the scene when it comes to charities. I think they don't really. I think it was it Jordan Henderson that said something. I think it might have been Jordan Henderson who said that footballers kind of do behind the scenes, but they don't really make a massive fuss about it. So you'd hope earning that money, and you reckon he would. He seems like a nice guy.
But yeah, I'm just texting my dad because he's just come home from work, and I'm just on a podcast, so please don't come in the room.
He's like, son, what do you want for dinner?
That's what he'd
be like.
Do. Yeah.
He'd be like, potato squares, please.
I've just seen him pull up on the drive, so I'm like, just don't go.
Yes.
Get him on, man. Get him on.
Yeah. If you were Lionel Messi, how much of a pay cut would you take to come to City, Chelsea, anyone like that? How much of a pay cut would you take? Because he's been on that sort of money consistently for years and years.
The funny thing is with Messi is I don't think it's a case of the club wanting you. I think you've got to convince Messi. I think Messi's going to want to come to your club. So it's not like where kind of transfers happen and Messi wants to go to that club. Messi's kind of got to be kind of. It's really weird. I don't really know what I'm saying, but like it's.
The only thing you can say on the matter is it's too much money and like he just shouldn't really be.
Do you know what he needs to start doing? Do you know what Lionel Messi needs to start doing?
TikTok.
Well, that's literally what I was going to say. Yeah. Because if he's earning all this money and he has to take a pay cut, get him on the creator fund, mate. He's going to be earning loads of money.
He could sell pictures of his feet as well. Like, imagine how much money he would earn.
Moving on. How much would you pay for those photos, John?
Oh my God. Imagine like. Kai, you're offered. Like, how much are you offered for it?
I'm not going into how much I'm offered for.
I'd say like 20 quid. Imagine.
Putting this out there, I do not sell photos of my feet on the internet.
He doesn't, but he gets asked because he's a TikTok superstar.
It's a reference to my YouTube video, shameless plug. My last video, I was asked if I would sell pictures of my feet.
Imagine how much someone would pay for Messi's left foot.
How much do you reckon you'd pay for it? How much do you reckon you'd pay? How much would you pay?
How much do I don't
I'm
have.
not. I wouldn't pay anything because
I
I'm
was
not
trying
like
to get you into it then. I was trying to get you, trick you into saying how much you'd pay for feet pics.
You can't get me sued for now saying I want to pay like £1 million for Messi.
that. Hey, John, you said it, not us.
Thing is, if you could, if it's Messi's foot and then it attaches to mine and then I play like Messi, then
I don't think you're actually getting Messi's foot.
No, you're not getting Messi's foot.
Oh, well, nothing about that then. No, I'm
You're
nothing.
just getting a picture. He's not going to cut it off and just give it to you.
They might do one of those things where you can use a 30-day free trial and cancel it afterwards, and then keep using multiple emails and then just.
What he should 3D print his foot. His left foot.
Potential. There's definitely potential in that.
Anyway,
and then you wear it.
Wait, anyway, we're talking about how much would 3D print.
1 second. Then you'd wear it, and then you'd have a left foot like Messi, and who knows what would happen.
Probably goals. Anyway.
And assists. Don't forget assists. Staying in Europe.
About how much we'd pay for stuff. Let's talk about how much people have paid for people in the transfer window. Very loose, very loose segue there. But
can we not talk about the Lukaku thing?
Or the Marseille thing?
The Lukaku and
yeah.
Ibrahimovic.
Well, haven't we talked about the transfer window yet?
No. But
okay, all right.
I mean, we can. I thought maybe we could do it at the end.
Take it away.
This is beautifully organised.
This just sums up us three, though, doesn't it?
No, but this is you don't want a podcast that's organised. No one wants that. Who would in the fight, Lukaku or Ibrahimovic? Because as you saw this weekend, last week in the midweek, it wasn't in the weekend. They got really annoyed at each other.
Organisation.
really annoyed at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Very much.
Really angry.
Heads were.
John, that was really weird.
Hmm?
We both said that at the exact same time.
Did you say that?
I hope that picked that up.
I didn't hear. Well, you might have done. I hope it did.
Anyway,
they were butting heads. You know, there was a few cuss words said to each other. And you know, Lukaku said about his mum to Ibrahimovic. No, he said about his wife to Ibrahimovic, and Ibrahimovic said to Lukaku about his mum.
And then him.
Didn't end well.
Then did say he was going to him and his mum.
And you know, it was. You know, I think both were culprits.
In a fight, I see that as KSI Logan Paul. I see it as KSI Logan Paul. I think, you know, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, short, tall.
You just compared Ibrahimovic and Lukaku to KSI and Logan Paul.
Yeah, I feel that's a massive injustice on Logan Paul. What are you doing? Seriously.
He's about to fight the best boxer ever.
This isn't a boxing podcast.
We hate boxing podcasts.
Yeah, boo. Hashtag boxing podcast out.
Yeah.
You're all terrible. Eddie Hearn, you heard me. Anyway, Ibrahimovic, Lukaku, who would win?
I like the way we've just slandered boxing podcasts and we're now talking about who would win in a boxing.
Who would win, Lukaku or Ibrahimovic, in a kickboxing fight?
Oh,
kickboxing podcasts are good.
Oh, see, this is different. This is now we're different.
Just in a fight. It's year 6. Lukaku and Ibrahimovic are fighting because Ibrahimovic has just stolen Lukaku's goal.
Are they 11 or are they their age in year 6?
I don't know how tall you're in year 6. I've got no clue.
They're in year... Right, they're this tall, but they've miraculously ended up in year 6. Who wins?
But are they that age in year 6? Because that's kind of weird.
Or are they paedophiles? now we're getting into a bit of a lawsuit problem here. Why have they gone to the school?
Why is it?
Yeah.
Who wins? It's a simple question.
Probably the police at this point. That's not.
You know what? Don't worry. Let's just move on. Let's say it be a draw.
That segment was one of the most shambolic segments I've ever heard in my life.
Let's move on. Marseille's training ground this week.
If they were fighting, no. If the teacher blew the whistle at them, would they stop? Yes or no?
Would the head teacher break it up? That's a great show.
Who's the head teacher?
Would they all have the walkie-talkies? You know, where they're all like, "There's a fight on the playground in the lockers."
Thomas Tuchel. He's just come out of nowhere as their teacher.
What do you say, John?
Yours was a prison. None of mine had walkie-talkie.
You don't have walkie-talkie?
I can't. No, what do you want?
Yeah. No, it's because he went to a grammar school.
Oh.
He went to a posh school. He lives in...
We not John's location on
me, Daddy.
Please blur that out. Please blur that out. I live in Southend.
Right. Marseille's training ground.
Yes.
Was destroyed this week. It actually caused their game v Rennes to be postponed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was that bad. What I found really funny about the report was that there's this quote here. It's thefts were committed and vehicles damaged. 5 trees were burnt down.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God! No.
Bellerin is fuming.
Bellerin planted those and he is not happy.
So I wanted to ask the question to you. Obviously, we know why the training ground was attacked and the trees were burnt down. But if I'm going to pose a question to you, what do you think could have caused the fans to riot on the training ground?
Hakan Ibrahimovic.
Maybe.
What
in a dream scenario? Maybe not a dream scenario because someone's training.
a dream scenario? The training ground.
What do you think would have caused the fans to riot? Like what in some bizarre universe? What's caused fans? So I've got a few. That's why
He's gone prepared.
That's why I brought this topic
This is
up.
before the podcast. I'm not Josh. I've got really some funny things written down.
So I was thinking something. I didn't say that.
If this isn't funny now, then the press is on.
Yeah, no, this is going to be terrible. It's probably. I think that someone dropped the croissant, which is why fans were rioting on the training ground.
Is that because they're French?
No, because have you not seen the meme? It's gotta drop my croissant. Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't funny. Moving on. Next one, Kai.
I hope the audience was laughing as much as we were.
Well, that's getting cut out as well.
What one? What's next?
I was going to say something about the food in the canteen, but I'm just not going to. Just not going to do it. I don't have the confidence to do it.
Go on, say it.
I literally have written chips in the canteen. That's what I've written.
What's that?
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, because I thought that the fans might not be happy with the chips they're being served.
Why would the fans be in the canteen?
That is a valid point.
Are they? No.
I did think at one point it was the players that were rioting, not the fans.
Well, what I found, moving on from that disastrous.
This has probably been the worst half, and it's like, oh.
We've got to Europe, and it's just
zero of this can go in.
Right, it's all going in. I'm keeping it all in.
It's all going in. What I found quite humorous is their defender. I didn't write his name down. I just got their defender. Was hit by a projectile as he confronted the supporters.
Projectile what?
They threw smoke bombs and firecrackers. So one of those two. He was hit as he went to confront them. They just threw
you get to choose which one it is.
You get to choose. I mean, he was hit by a firecracker or a smoke bomb. He didn't say. I just thought that was really mean.
Yeah, no,
imagine being the player of your club and your club just froze a...
This has just gone... I'm sorry, but this segment has just gone out the window.
Yes.
Out of Europe.
Anyway.
I think the reason why they went, who was it again, Marseille? Marseille. I think their players on the training ground were playing nut rush. I think, they also went through, a nut rush works. You get nuts, you get dead legs. The fans took that slightly too seriously, came on with flares and took the dead legs too seriously, the dead meaning too seriously, came on with flares, all the pyros and all that. I think they missed going to away games, to be honest, completely honest. I think it just created an away atmosphere. It would have been good limbs. I'd have loved to have been there. Let's move on.
Or like one of them was playing a game of Flappy Bird.
I'm sorry, but you can't say mine wasn't funny and you've just referenced Flappy Bird. We are in 2021. Forget about it.
I'll play it right now.
Yeah, actually do. Get it up now and see what you can do. Go around with it.
Yeah, game of Flappy Bird.
Yeah, do.
They were the reason for them actually protesting was they were demonstrating against the club's leadership and poor run of results. So,
I'm happy. I think before we discuss this further, you need to have a game of Flappy Bird. Either that or you're going to...
I'm playing it right now.
Well, show me...
Beat that. You can bleep that out.
I've got to listen to the whole podcast now to go bleep through your swear word.
I'll play it again. Well, I got two. 1 sec. Here we go. We go.
For all you audio listeners, Josh is playing Flappy Bird.
Here we go. You can switch off now. Oh my God, I'm on 6. Drop down. 7. Drop down again. 8. 9. Drop down. 10. 11. 12. No! No!
That's a good
It's a
effort.
really high score.
Let us know your high score on Flappy Birds in the comments of this YouTube video. If you're not watching on YouTube, go over to
Mine's
YouTube.
22.
22, that's decent. Right?
Yeah. But let's finish this podcast off now.
I thought we were doing European. Oh yeah, let's just finish.
Yeah, we finished it, but no. I mean, by finish it off by talking about signings of the window.
Okay, yeah. Well,
We're still around.
let's
End
leave
it
it
on a
that way.
strong note.
Yeah, let's leave it on a serious, strong note. Because let's be honest, nobody's made it to this point in the podcast, have they?
No, probably not. They probably heard about Messi's feet and switched up.
Yeah.
They were like, nah.
Okay.
No, thanks.
Well, I know I'm clickbaiting this podcast.
What were you gonna say?
Selling Messi's feet on the internet.
But that's actually that did come up. So it's not a clickbait.
Yeah, but it's clickbait though because we.
No, but we did actually. No, but on the.
And I want a photo of you, Josh. Like, and then, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, transfer window.
Signings of the window. Kai, do you want to start?
Yeah, not really. Nothing's really happened, has it? To be honest.
But who's your sign of the window?
Oh, my sign of the window. Well, it would help if there was some.
Did you not do your research?
Yes, actually, I did. I found that 8 clubs out of the 20 have only signed in this window. 7.
And who was your favourite?
Diallo, mate.
And why?
Because he scored twice against Liverpool in under 23s in his debut.
And one was a
I saw that.
Yeah, it was great.
Under 23
goal
player.
as well.
When under 23s player, he gets a lot of interaction on Twitter, like a lot of likes, a lot. Would you not follow him?
Yeah. I just never pay attention to likes, John, because my life isn't about likes, mate.
No, technically, it
Either.
is.
Well, TikToks,
Your literal income is about
likes.
John, who was your favourite?
Well, I've got two.
Give one to Kai because he didn't do anything.
No, I've got seriously Diallo or Odegaard probably.
I had three. Odegaard was up there, but 2 other ones: Jesse Lingard and Robert Snodgrass, because I think Robert Snodgrass is a quality player.
Yep.
Neymar made his debut. They beat West Brom, beat Wolves 3-2. He didn't have any impact in the goals. He was just there. Snodgrass is a fantastic ex-Leeds player. A love of my life at one point. Jesse Lingard, I'm great to see his life get back on track because he wasn't playing that much against Man United. Only started in the FA Cup against Watford. And I just want to see him do like the J-Lings, the shoot dance, the Pied Piper dance he does at the London Stadium. To be honest, with Declan Rice. What about you, Josh?
My sign of the window. Thank you, John. My sign of the window is Morgan Sanson. Morgan Sanson.
Oh, yeah.
He came from Marseille. That's probably why they were happy.
That's why they were
probably why they were fuming. They lost Morgan Sanson. He's gone to Aston Villa. The reason why is Champions League experience. 5 goals, 4 assists last season. Not great. Although he is a midfielder. So, we can take it. It's okay.
Whereabouts? I've not heard of him. I've not seen much of him. Whereabouts does he play? Defensive midfield?
Nah, centre mid.
Okay.
Centre mid. He's more about the kind of the control of the midfield more than like his end product. Kind of controls it. I think he'll be more of like a squad player. He's got 86% passing accuracy, 2.2 tackles per game, 1.1 clearances per game, 63% successful dribbles. Not too bad. Decent stats. Good squad player. And he just adds better quality of depth for Villa, who need it. He's an upgrade on Hurahan, isn't he, really? So, he'll do well. He'll come in for McGinn if McGinn gets injured, or Ross Barkley or someone like that, and he'll do a decent job. So, no, very good signing for Aston Villa there with Morgan Sanson, and at least we know why Marseille were unhappy.
Well, I say we leave it there while we're still all mentally sane.
Yeah.
Because this podcast started very well, and we were very technical about our speech, and then it just went...
It was Messi's feet. That was a turn.
It was Messi's feet, and Lukaku in high school was a low point.
When we stopped talking about the Premier League, really.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's when it went to.
Yeah, because
we know nothing about football. That's how we like it. We know nothing about Europe.
Football. I've never watched a game of football in my life, actually.
No, I mean, either. I actually watch water polo.
More of a question.
On that note, we'll leave it there. Josh, do you want to do the outro, or Johnny? Either.
Cheers for watching, everyone. Listening.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Not on all platforms, as we discussed at the beginning of the program. So if you are listening on one, you are one of the chosen platforms. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe, like, comment, follow all the socials. Will be in the descriptions or however you set them out on the audio stuff.
I'll also on the screen we'll have our Twitter handles, our Twitter and Instagram handles on the bottom of our faces, so you'll be able to know where to find us.
What there?
You're right there. Yeah, they're there now. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, they're there right now. But yeah,
Right there.
Yeah,
we've also got the group one, which I'll put in the middle.
Nice.
But yeah, it's there now. Actually, I don't know why I'm saying we're going to put it there. It's there.
Yeah.
It's been there for some time.
So yeah, thanks guys for listening.
Thank you for watching.
And we'll see you next week.
We've also actually, before we do go,
let's advertise this podcast. I feel like we're going to be better at the other one.
So basically,
this is the only one we're doing of this one. Sorry, no.
We have a mainstream.
This is going to end
where we discuss the news and the trending topics, where we just have a bit more of a laugh. It's a bit less.
Interviews as well.
Interviews with
social media stars.
Exactly on point there, Josh. Yeah, so we'll be getting various maybe TikTokers on there. Who knows? But yeah. So yeah, we'll be having a bit more of a. I don't know how you can be less serious on a podcast. Actually, we've just talked about Lukaku and Ibra fighting in school in year 6 and selling Messi's feet. I mean,
mate, the TikTok's going to be great when you just post the picture. It's going to be great.
If you want even more immaturity of that, then
yeah.
Okay, you got the TikTok as well.
Podcast is just the Us 3 podcast rather than the Us 3 FC. So yeah, if you want to check that out, thank you all for watching, for streaming on Spotify, for watching on YouTube. Good. Bye.
In a pit.